Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miscellaneous Gab and I'm very late getting this Dune Prophecy episode 3 review up. Episode 5 actually comes out tonight. Even though I've seen episode 4, I think I might just skip it, maybe put it out later, but I really want to get caught up because this already feels very old. But I was traveling, I was sick, and now I'm back here recording this because I want to talk about episode 3. So before I get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. You might be wondering, what's up with the coat? Watching this episode with all the flashbacks in the snow, it made me feel cold. It also made me feel very Game of Thrones. So I'm channeling, last week I was the Reverend Mother. This week I am someone who lives on Lankaville harvesting whales, and this is my costume. So what will I wear next? There's only one way to find out, and that's to subscribe. Let's get into it. We start off with a flashback in Lankaville, which is the Harkonnen home world that they were banished to. This is well before they get to Gady Prime. And we learned in the first episode from that kind of Harkonnen cousin, the Harkonnen harvest whales. Now, obviously, I know back in the day, people had to harvest animals to survive. Whale harvesting is very frowned upon now, but we just kind of get this feeling about the Harkonnens that they've always been wasters or abusers of the natural environment. That's really exacerbated on Gady Prime, where they basically destroy their ozone layer. But for now, they have a real world with real whales, and it's cold. We are getting a flashback to when the sisters were younger again. So we see Valia interacting with her family, and you can really tell that she is the black sheep, not only because she's obsessed with the legacy and she has this ambition, this pride. She's so upset and consumed with what the Atreides kind of did to their family name. We see a couple familiar faces here for those of you who like crossovers. The mother is actually Madame Featherington from Bridgerton, and the uncle is none other than Mark Addy, who was Robert Baratheon in Game of Thrones. This felt very Game of Thrones to me. Winterfell, Freys, Starks, Red Wedding. That is kind of one of my criticisms of this episode. It didn't feel like Dune. Now, I know we're 10,000 years in the past, but it just didn't feel like Dune. We also see that whale tooth that Tula gave to Lila right before her spice agony. This is the Harkonnen well before their prime. They were cast out, think like Germany after World War I. Valia, like I said, seems very, very concerned with the history, with how they will be remembered, with the family legacy and what they can fight for. We get to this scene with her and her brother Griffin. We see that both her and Tula, even though Tula and her like at first have kind of a foil to each other, where Tula's like the nice, well-mannered one and she's this outspoken, prideful, ambitious one, they both have really special relationship with their brother Griffin. Valia begs him to go and barter with Vorian Atreides and kind of like haggle for the family name and for their honor. We have a flash forward and we really don't know how long the flash forward is. That's one thing about the flashbacks is we don't know how much time passes, which if they were going to spend half the episode in a flashback, I wish they would have told us more, like how many years. Maybe we'll get more context, but basically Griffin is dead. He's the pride and joy of the family. It makes the family fall apart. Valia is like done at this point. They hate the Atreides, and even though Tula is a bit more reserved and sad, that she is still willing to do whatever it takes to get back. I kind of missed this at the beginning, but we check in with Mother Valia like right after that crazy scene with Desmond Hart where he resisted the voice. You can tell she's very bothered by this. She's seen some tomfoolery in her life, but this is a bit unprecedented territory. She really needs like all hands on deck here, and luckily her sisters do support her. She does have that leadership, even though she is seemingly losing her hold over the royal family because they've cast her out. What kind of hold does she still have over the sisterhood? Then we get back to Wallach 9, where Lila is being kept alive by some sort of rebreather respirator situation. The other mother here is clearly in with Mother Valia, is telling Tula, hey, just let her go, cut your losses. This is how it goes. Tula feels a lot more deeply connected to this child, feels protective over her, and doesn't want to let her go. We get to this even more Game of Thrones scene with Tula and Ori. It takes a while, a bit too long, I will say, to find out that Ori is an Atreides. And at first I'm thinking, oh, that they're really drawing the parallel here. She's in love with the enemy. Her sister's off training with the Bene Gesserit, questioning things, and she's all lovey-dovey with an Atreides, public enemy number one in the forest. This is where it didn't feel like Dune. I wanted more context, like what planet are they on? What's going on? We both spend too much time here, but also too little time to really care about these characters or the people who will eventually meet their demise at the hands of Tula. As soon as she's gutting that animal and says that there's some poison in there, I know that it's just not going to go well, that it will be used. It's kind of Chekhov's gun. I was very confused. Now, I didn't read these prequel books by Brian Herbert. When he was called Ori, I'm like, is that a nickname for Ori. I would love to know the relation. Like, is this just kind of a small sect of Atreides that like to go hunting? Are they kind of more royal? Where are they? What's going on? So then we get back into another flashback of Valia's time at the sisterhood. She's already a questioner. She's already questioning the order of things. Where does her loyalty lie? The sisterhood, her family. I have all these girls take the vow and it's kind of like a battle of wills. She's not taking the vow, and I'm like, ooh, that explains a lot. Has she never taken the vow towards the sisterhood? Then we see this scene again that lasted too long with Tula, this like long sex scene. And so what I'm thinking here is she really just in love with him and like love conquers all for her? Is she trying to get a baby from him because they already have this idea of, hey, we want to capture these genes and pass them on and fuse them to kind of make peace? Like the breeding program, is she pregnant? We won't know this until later, if at all. Them shouting Atreides around the fire was kind of silly. And then I did like the reveal that, oh, I thought she was just going to say, hey, I'm a Harkonnen. And then he gives her this really nice speech like, that's okay. It's okay that you're a Harkonnen and our families hate each other. We can have some sort of Romeo Juliet situation going on where we bridge that divide and find happiness within each other. And then she not only like murks him, but first lets him see what she has done to his family. Pretty cold and calculating there, Tula. She's very conflicted about this, but she's doing it for her brother. That Atreides hatred runs real deep in these gals who are leading the sisterhood that's not supposed to have any official partiality to these families. We see the beginning of Valia using the voice. I know it's very unclear like how the voice works so far. There is an explanation in the books more for how the voice works. I've been thinking about doing a separate video on the voice, how it works, breaking down some of the scenes in the original Dune book. So if you'd like to see that, you know what to do, comment below. Then we go through this agony process where she refuses to take the agony, whereas Dorothea does. And that was an interesting scene, I guess, even though right now she is the sisterhood, that she has always kind of been this outlier. So then she goes back to her home world. It doesn't go so well. And then her and her sister meet up again after she delivers the news about Ori. Valia goes out into the wilderness by herself, and I guess maybe because the vengeance or revenge has been enacted that she's ready to take the agony. The scene was a bit underwhelming, as was her own experience with the agony. We don't see more about how it works, what she sees, what she reveals. This is supposed to be such a ceremonial, important event. And we just kind of see her collapse, and then her sister finds her, and then her sister agrees to go to Wallach 9 as well. So unfortunately, while I do think these flashback scenes were important, I don't think we needed to spend as much time here. Then we go back to say goodbye to Lila, and I think, okay, they're just gonna pull the plug. Then Mother Tula, this was the big reveal. This was probably the most exciting part of the episode, where she's going to pull the plug, and instead she takes Lila to this room. Now, we always knew the Bene Gesserit were harboring some sort of advanced DNA mapping, but it's actually a server room full of computers and AI. Essentially what was just outlawed and banned. Very interesting, very maybe hypocritical. She is keeping Lila alive in this tank of spice. The first idea I had here, or the first impression, was guild navigators. They kind of float in tanks of these spice clouds. So I had two things here, right? Where I'm remembering the words of Mother Dorothea, who said something along the lines of, "You stole my life, now I will steal your hope." If she's able to keep Lila alive, I really don't think this will end well in any way. Maybe she comes back as Dorothea. But another thing I was thinking about is the reckoning prophecy, someone born once in blood and once in spice. Could that be Lila? She is technically a ghost because the ghost is coming back and living through her, a revenant full of scars. I guess she doesn't have scars, but maybe the revenant that is living through her, Dorothea, has the scars on her neck from when she offed herself. We see also that Valia goes back to her Harkonnen cousin to ask for help. So she's appealing to the family in some way, shape, or form. That should be interesting. We really see her growing desperate here. Not only has she lost her influence on Seleucus Secundus with the emperor, but now we see a divide between her and her sister. Her sister, we get an idea, has been following her orders. Tula has been following Valia's orders for decades, probably. Her desire to save Lila, even at the cost of maybe that's not the logical thing to do, might end up being the ruin of the sisterhood. It's a theme of this series of what happens when the choices that you make to prevent something actually end up causing the thing, which is what we see here. Overall, I'm excited for the next episodes because I want to get more into the action. We didn't have any Desmond Hart. We didn't have any Emperor Carino, and those two are my favorites so far. So excited to get into it. All in all, this was an okay episode. I really think for only a 6-episode series, we need to be moving forward and not moving back to this degree. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you want me to get out a video number 4 or just jump straight to 5. I'm going to try to edit this tonight. Thanks for bearing with me. I am really just excited to start getting more videos out now that I'm no longer sick and traveling. Please do stay tuned. Let me know what you think in the comments and what you want to see next. Overall, stay healthy out there, stay safe, and happy holidays. Bye.